minutes of whatever. Coming to you live with your host for tonight, Mr. Barth Gimbel. Tonight, Barth's guest will be Dr. Alexander Beach, who shows how you can take drugs in your eye. Blanche Moody, whose husband can no longer wash. Bryce Clement, whose head is only half finished. The singing humdingers, and Happy Kind without the mirth makers. And me, I'm Jerry Hubbard. And now here's your host and mine, Mr. Barth Gimbel.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Hap. That'll be fine. Oh, that was great what there was of it. The reason Happy here had to play alone is kind of sad and actually equally simple. Happy's mirth makers are on a wildcat strike and are picketing Channel 6 at this very moment. Now, of course, I feel very strongly that they have every inalienable right to strike, even though it severely damages a top-flight show such as mine. Thank you. Oh, come on. No. But I stand emphatically for the working man. I actually do. So if the mirth makers still want to throw my car in the lake for crossing the picket line, that's okay. It's a loner anyway. I'll understand. I know I'll be more understanding than Happy was, but then he was in his at the time, right? It's too bad, but you look great tonight. I have a list of their grievances, and I guess I'll let you be the judge. But I'll tell you right up front, they're ridiculous. For one, I remember they wanted to reserve parking space for their van. And get this, their own dressing room with a bathroom. Now, I guess for some reason they object to parking at Wilbur's Why Pay More self-serve gas station down the hill. And they're also not very happy with having to change in Wilbur's restroom, even though Wilbur's restrooms are top-notch, or darn close to it. Oh, here's Jerry Hubbard. You never really know when Jerry's going to come in. He gets a little out of breath there with the opening announcement, but it's nice to see you here. You're looking great.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Good.
Not worth doing a job if it's not worth doing it well, and we're all kind of upset about this.
Yeah, well, they'll be back soon, we hope.
Well,
you know, Jerry's brother Conrad here, the station manager, Channel 6, which explains a great deal why Jerry's here. He's made some counter proposals to the mirth makers, which I think might work out all right.
Well, he sure has. He's offered to arrange to get the boys to use Vern Taylor's service station.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's 5 blocks further east, but they would avoid that nasty climb up that big hill.
That's right, and that's, as far as I'm concerned, that's a substantial counteroffer, boys, if you're listening. The ball is now in your court, and Conrad's car is under 24-hour surveillance. Isn't that right? Okay. Let's settle this thing fast, okay? That's just my feelings, and I'm sure yours as well is Happy. Okay, now on with the show. Luckily, my next guests make music, but don't need musicians. They are a semi-professional quartet. I guess that means that only 2 of them get paid. Is that something like that? Tonight, they'll be doing something a little bit different. First of all, one of them is on a sympathy strike with the mirth makers, as luck would have it, and flatly refuses to sing. Secondly, they will be updating the traditional barbershop sound, the one we all know, the Sweet Adeline type of thing, and instead they'll be doing a medley of the superstars of the 70s. So please welcome the world's only barbershop trio, I guess you'd have to call them, the Humdingers.
First, a salute to the unforgettable Beatles. Lucy in the sky with diamonds, diamonds. Lucy in the sky with diamonds, diamonds. Lucy in the sky with diamonds. And now one of your favorites, and I'm sure one of ours, Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones. I can't get no satisfaction. I can't get no satisfaction. I can't get no satisfaction.
on over here and sit down, fellas.
Well, that was 3/4 of a good job.
Yes, sir. Very, very interesting. You guys are quite something.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You guys are real troopers. The show must go on, and even though one of you wasn't contributing to very much, I know what that's like myself from personal experience, right, Jerry?
You know, I really, it is a great job, and I find it fascinating. Every time I've been in a barber shop, you guys are so busy, where do you find time to rehearse?
Well, actually, you don't have to be a barber to sing barbershop.
What do you fellas do for a living? I know it's not this, that's for sure.
Well, Charlie over here on the end, he's a car salesman.
I'll be darned.
Kevin sells shoes. He outfitted our group.
Wow.
You'd never know it.
I'm a dentist, and Cecil here, he's a mortician.
I know must be a lot of people dying to have you work for them. Just want to lighten the load since you're stiffing.
Walking billboard for his own business, isn't he?
That's right.
Well, no, I think it's great that 4 diverse backgrounds could come together with a common goal and make such great harmony. And I, for one, think that this world would be a little bit better place if everyone, regardless of race, creed, or color, could meet over a haircut someplace and sing a Rolling Stones or a Beatles song.
That's an awfully nice thought, Jerry. I think it might make the UN General Assembly look a little silly. But just all that clipping going on and translating a haircut, how do you go about doing that?
That's right.
Who knows?
So actually, you guys don't really know why the price of haircuts has gone sky high then, do you? I mean, it's used to be $1.75 and you get a nice trim. And
Well, like we said, we're not barbers.
Well, we'll be right back after these words. That's fine. Nice try. Happy kind and no mirth makers, ladies and gentlemen. Aren't they terrific? Really swell. Do a heck of a job for us.
right, and the quartet, like real barbers, sure know how to cut it short.
That's great. For those of you out there who read, you may have been reading about a disease that is currently plaguing millions of Americans. The disease, of
yes.
course, is glaucoma.
Yes.
A disease of the eye which often leads to blindness.
Yes, and there's a saying that none is so blind as he who cannot see, and it's very true.
Right, Jerry. But there has been a medical breakthrough recently, and to tell us about it, my next guest is an optician here in the Tri-County area. Please welcome Dr. Alexander Beach. They ever call you Sandy as a nickname? Sandy
As a
Beach?
child, yes, they did.
That's probably ribbed your father, too, when they found out he had a son. It's kind of interesting. Doctor, I understand there's a wonder drug that has been found helpful in the care of glaucoma. What exactly is that drug?
It's called marijuana, Barth.
Oh, boy.
I guess I didn't understand that. I'm sure that most of us have heard of marijuana. Doctor, isn't it illegal? It is as far as I know.
Well, that's correct. Yes, it is illegal, except in the treatment of this really awful and insidious disease, glaucoma. You see, Barth, the active chemical in marijuana, THC, has been medically proven to relieve the pressure the glaucoma exerts on the back of the eyeball. Very painful.
It's very interesting. Now, this disease was actually sort of ignored before, wasn't it?
Most people just ignored it. The attitude was, okay, I'm going blind, I guess I'll just become a good listener. Sort of. However, once marijuana proved to be the cure, glaucoma sufferers everywhere. We've been coming out of the closet and, well, boy, we got a lot of cases of glaucoma on our hands.
Just really, how widespread is the problem, Doctor?
Oh, well, golly, I would say that out of every 5 patients that come to me needing glasses, 4 of them have glaucoma.
And that medication, of course, is...
Primo dope, Bart. Good Colombian, Thai stick. You name it, I can get it within 24 hours.
4 out of 5. My gosh, that is quite a statistic, and I'd find that kind of difficult to believe, except for the fact that I know of the 5 band members who are absent today, 4 of them suffer from glaucoma. Are they? Is that an interesting... Well, and you'll be happy to know, Doctor, that oftentimes I've walked by their van and seen them diligently smoking their medicine.
How long do you have to take this marijuana before you are completely cured and there's no more glaucoma?
Rest of your life. Well, you can't be too careful, you know. I mean,
that's right.
The nice thing, though, is, you know, the more you take, the better you feel.
You know, it is comforting, Doctor, to know that we found a cure for this disease, but there's an old saying that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Hey, right there. You're right. And I can let you have an ounce of prevention for $80 a lit. Why not stop glaucoma before it starts?
Very good point, Doctor. And you can find other ways to live with your disease. According to my friend, which you might pass along to your patients, he says that whenever he gets together with other glaucoma sufferers, like at his apartment on Saturday night, something like that, there's a real feeling of camaraderie.
Right.
It seems to make it easier to deal with the disease. They kind of make a party out of it, you know? Even those little papers you used to use to clean your glasses, well, they just take those things, put the medicine in, roll them right up.
Those are handy.
Just terrific. Yeah. And apparently you can't taste any of that cleaning fluid, so it's not like that bad-tasting medicine.
No.
Misery loves company.
Absolutely. They make a party out of it. Just play some music, lie around on pillows, and they take their medicine, and sometimes it's so pleasant we forget we have this curse, they say.
Well, hey, what's so bad about feeling good, right?
Absolutely.
But I want to make this point. Glaucoma is a handicap, but it's also a hassle. And you don't need it. I mean, if you want to prevent glaucoma, I have devised a very simple test. Folks out here can take it at home. Can I do this? No?
Absolutely.
Because I think, you know, a lot of people
This might help a lot of people get over some suffering. They certainly...
Okay. Take a look at this. Do you have trouble focusing on this? Your vision blurred? Tell me what's wrong with this picture. Well, if you have trouble with this, you may have glaucoma. And if you do, call me, Dr. Beach, 555-5624.
Okay.
Or write to me, Dr. Beach. Hey, Sandy, you know, really. Post Office Box 78924, Fernwood, Ohio, 45989.
That's great.
A division of Gimbelco Enterprises.
Thank you very much, Doctor, and we'll be right back after these words.
My name is Zubin Mehta, and I conduct the New York Philharmonic.
When I originally proposed the idea of helping the unfulfilled great dreamers of Fernwood by giving them money all during this ratings week, I quite honestly had a little battle with the powers that be here at Channel 6, and what powers they be, which became obvious to me when they vetoed my original idea for this project, which was to help somebody to the tune of $10,000. But $10 a night was all they'd spring for. And like I've said so many times about being here, it's better than nothing. So if you can imagine the feeling I must have had knowing that because Lady Luck stuck her nose in our contest for 3 consecutive nights, preventing us from giving away the money, I felt pretty bad. But tonight, I'm able to wave 40 big ones right in the face of Fernwood's biggest dreamer. I've decided to let you people here in the studio audience make that final choice. We've picked 2 entries, 2 dreams, and with the help of this applausometer, can we get a shot of that? Have we had that? Okay, great. Put together by Ken Klinger, incidentally, of our own engineering department. He did that just out of stuff he had at home. With the help of that applausometer, you will decide who gets $40 closer to Dreamland tonight. So, listen closely, because no matter which way you vote, one of these 2 people will hate you a great deal in just a few minutes. May we have our dream finalists come out here and read their dreams, please? Is that possible? Here she is, our first finalist. This is Mrs. Elmer Moody. Mrs. Moody, it's all yours.
Can I read it, boss? I'm not sure I'm going to remember.
Well, a lot of us have trouble remembering our dreams, so why don't you go ahead and read it?
Thank you.
Here's a little temptation. Okay, go ahead.
Dear Barth, my husband Elmer was, as many know, with the Merchant Marine, and a year ago he was taking a shipment of vaccine to a South Sea island where a new strain of malaria had broken out. While he was on the island, Elmer took sick, but he refused to be injected with the vaccine because he was afraid of catching hepatitis from the natives. 2 days later, he died of malaria, leaving me to run the laundromat single-handedly. My dream is that the money could somehow help me buy a second clothes dryer for the laundromat, since so many of the washer users are walking out angry with wet loads. I know $10 might not buy a real professional dryer, but maybe at least a blow dryer they could use on the socks and delicate things. God bless you, Barth. I signed it Blanche Moody.
Okay, now let's have the applause now. Looks like an 8 on that meter over there. That's going to be kind of hard to beat. Probably take a 9 or a 10. So, and the man who can maybe do that or maybe not, we don't know yet, do we, Mrs. Moody? Let's meet our final dream finalist, Mr. Bryce Clemmer. That's his name. Now, you may read yours, too, in all fairness. To keep it fair, she read, so why don't you read?
It has always been my belief that a beautiful community, like a chain, is only as strong as its ugliest part.
Okay.
And so 2 years ago, I began my own effort to make Fernwood a better-looking place to live by starting a series of expensive and painful hair transplant operations. Unfortunately, just as the process was half completed, I was laid off my job and couldn't afford to continue. My dream is to finish beautifying my own little corner of Fernwood. Also, I must add, if the anguish and humiliation this has caused me doesn't end sooner, I may be forced to shave off $2,000 worth of painfully implanted hair and return to a life of loneliness to the point of celibacy and possible homosexuality. Unless, of course, I win the $10.
Okay.
Thank you, Bryce Clemmer.
Okay, let's hear it for Bryce Clemmer. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. It could only happen on Fernwood tonight. I don't believe it. It's a tie. So, well, good sports, too. That's wonderful. Looks like we're going to have some sort of an applause off or something like that. We'll have to do it again. And this way, well, first of all, actually, why don't you, since you're kind of nervous anyway, I'm sure, about who's going to win, go over there and have a seat. I just want to say a few words to the audience, and then we'll have that applause off, okay? We're going to have it. Don't worry about that. But before we do, I'd like to, as I say, we'll take a moment out to speak kind of seriously here, in a way, about the millions of people who couldn't enter our dream contest because total desperate poverty and hunger have even deprived them of the energy necessary to mail a letter. People whom life has kicked in the face so often, it says neolite on their cheeks. There are so many who need so much that a lifetime seems, I don't know, pitifully short. Not much time to help them all, is it? And I'm not just thinking of this country. That is just this country. Let's not even mention the hungry and homeless abroad that not even UNICEF knows how to reach. Stardom and fame are not what I'm really in this for. My dream is to make a real killing on television. And I'm talking about the kind of money that could get me the choicest table at the best restaurant in Hollywood, even if Henry Winkler has just walked in ahead of me. And then take that money and drive across the country, this great country of ours, and stop and write a check for 50 cents, $1, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 right on the spot, and give it to the first needy person I see. And just keep on doing that all across America. You know, it's the same kind of dream that the great Abraham Lincoln once had. dream that was shared 100 years later by the late, great John F. Kennedy and Robert F. Kennedy. $40 may just be a teardrop in an ocean of a dream like that. But I want to take that first step on a journey that can take me so far beyond the best restaurant in Hollywood, pack my oldest work clothes in an old suitcase and head out across the land right now. Maybe that way I can bring that happiness to people that they so richly deserve. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's time just to head out and do that. If I can bring that happiness, that's all I ask. I'm sorry, Jerry. Just go ahead and have the applause off. Let's have a winner. That's it.
That Barth Gimbel's humble dream of helping all mankind is the best job to fulfill American dream in Fernwood. Barth, come on out here. This is just a beautiful opportunity. Barth, on behalf of the good folks down at the First Bank of Fernwood, where there's always free coffee for all depositors who maintain a minimum $300 balance, why don't you write yourself a check for $40 and keep on dreaming? How about that?
You all, thank you and good night.
Kevin Reinhardt, Maurice Frelo, and Charles C. Clark as the Humdingers, Fred Brandy as Dr. Alexander Beach, Ivy Bettini as Blanche